traders, how's it going? Nick here with Vant Trading. So I'm going to be going through a video that I love doing pretty much at least at the end of every month. Sometimes I'll do it more frequently, but I'm going to be going over tick by tick, entry by entry, my best trades of the last month. So in this case, I'm going to be going over my best trades of May 2020. We're going to go over the top 3 or 4, and I am going to be doing a video as well as my worst trades of last month. I want to show you both sides of things. Everyone has losses, everyone has bad losses, everyone has stupid mistakes. So I will be showing you that, but for now, this video, I want to show you my top 3 or 4 trades of last month. These are the trades that I either made the most in, or I thought were really clean and easy to learn from, something that we can go over together. And I'm going to use a really neat tool on ThinkorSwim called ThinkBack, which allows you to replay that day tick for tick as if it was a live trade happening before you. So I'm going to be able to show us the trade as it developed, show you my actual entries and exits by the time, by the entry price. That way we can go over, see what I was seeing. Maybe you can get a little insight into how I was trading these stocks, and maybe we can learn together. Maybe there's some feedback I can give myself and we can see about these trades. But we're going to see some of the top 3 or 4 trades that I did for last month. And we're going to learn from these together. All right. So starting off, we're going to start with BJ's. This is the BJ's wholesaler. They're like the Costco competitor, kind of. And let's first take a look at the daily chart. Bam! Nice big breakout day. Yesterday, or the day before at this time, was May 21st? May 21st, and they had their earnings. And they had this beautiful setup on the daily. I believe I traded it on the earnings day. Wasn't even my best day of trading. The day after earnings was my best day of trading somehow, but on this stock in particular. You had this great setup on the daily, and we've seen this several times lately where we had this crazy peak out. It set this really nice high, pulled back, started curling back up. And we had this beautiful consolidation 2 or 3 weeks prior to going into earnings. And the earnings now, if I zoom back in, actually sent us above that level. Let me go to a 5-minute. In the pre-market, and this is something that I thought was interesting, we peaked out in the pre-market at that exact level on the daily, almost to the penny, 2 pennies off. Really nice. This is why your levels can really help you in setting your levels ahead of time and understanding what they are, because the market will respect those. And going into that earnings day, I did trade it, but this isn't the trade I'm talking about. You had a beautiful consolidation going into the open. It traded along and held, and then you had this beautiful trending day in BJ's that entire day. This was a very strong day in BJ's, very great breakout day. I mean, look at this. You had this beautiful entry on VWAP if you were anticipating the break. Even if you waited for the break, you had a beautiful re-entry along VWAP, and you had this great trend for multiple opportunities. Now, let's talk about the actual trade that I'm going to be going over, and that was a second day play in BJ's. So you had this beautiful strong day. You had this awesome breakout on the daily. If I had to say one thing that was going against this trade, it was that it went up a lot yesterday. And when you go up a lot like that, it's kind of hard to want to be long bias on the next day. But it finished at highs. You had this clear line in the sand here, 35.45. We bumped up against all afternoon and all into the close the previous day, and in the after hours, we sold off a little bit, but we were regaining ground. This is at 8 o'clock on May 22nd, on the dot. 8 o'clock on the dot by the second. This is where we were. So I had this on in my morning call that I post on YouTube. I mentioned this one for a possible second day play, nice continuation. Or I was looking, if it failed here, couldn't hold above and started rolling over, you could have gotten a nice kind of give back day where maybe it pulled back a little bit. Not as much meat on the bones on that play, in my opinion, as the long, which is why I was more aggressive on the long side. So let's fast forward a little bit and see what this stock looked like at 9 a.m. on the dot. 30 minutes before the open. Perfect. We're trading higher. We're holding right below. I love that it hasn't broken yet, because I don't like when the stocks exhaust themselves too early. I don't like when they really make it tough for you to find a good entry to size in. So we ended up having this thing hanging out here beautifully 30 minutes before the open. This one is staying on one of my screens. I usually have multiple monitors and multiple screens, and on all those screens I have multiple stocks, and I try to focus on a couple and hone in. This one at this point was definitely staying on. Let me fast forward a little bit to 9:28. Let's see where we were at 9:28, 2 minutes before the open. Opening and bounces are coming out. We're still holding up, little tick lower, but nothing to worry you, nothing to write home about. This isn't some decisive move lower yet. So we're not concerned. I'm definitely going to be watching this one. I'll tell you, I didn't buy it right away. I didn't buy it until 9:34 and 11 seconds. I may have been late on this one. We'll see. We'll take a look at this one. So let's see what we were doing on the open, 9:30. And I'm going to keep it paused at 9:30. This is where we were. This was the situation. Look at that. We ticked up. We broke these highs going into the open. Now, more aggressive traders might see that, and they might think, all right, if this thing's going to go, it might go. And those happen. And that's where a more aggressive trader might, benefit more. Or, it could end up popping off a little bit, shaking some of those longs out and then reclaiming levels. That's kind of what we saw yesterday or the previous day. It kind of dropped, maybe shook out some of those longs and then started going. So there's caveats to both sides of being more aggressive like that. Let's start playing the trade. It's going to be in a fast-forwarded state where every second is really 2 seconds. Not a big deal, obviously. And let's just watch this trade develop. So BJ's trading pretty nicely here. This is on a 1 minute. I could show you 5 minutes, and I'll show you them as we go along. But that was a really nice play. If I'm more of an aggressive trader, I paused it there. We're at 9:30 and 41 seconds. It's almost been a minute. It tested this level and immediately popped up. If you're more of an aggressive trader, not a bad entry. I probably was in something else. I don't know why I wouldn't have bought here. Coincidentally, this is actually about the entries I have, but in a little bit in the future. So it didn't go without me, thank God, because this was a great trade and gave you a lot of opportunity. Started popping higher. We're breaking 936. We're testing here. We're testing. You got to be careful because this is price discovery. And if it's failing to get over 36 and you are in aggressively, it might be worth taking off a little bit because you might see a little bit of a pullback here, because the opening traders are going to be quick to get out. Looks like we're doing a little bit of a battle here at 36. We're still above that resistance. You got to keep that in mind. We're above VWAP, above the resistance. We're not really making new lows here, so there's no need to panic. If you were for some reason looking short here, well, now we made new highs. I was going to say we were having a battle here at this 36. This is clearly a nice little battleground for the stock right now. They're putting up a fight at this 36, but the bears are not winning. It's not gotten below VWAP. It's not gotten below the pre-market resistance. So it's looking good on the long side. And we're still trading. We're at 9:31 and 40 seconds. And it's still holding up here. This is actually pretty interesting. If I was watching this at this point, I'd probably want this long, but I'd be a little nervous because they're still kind of ticking this down, and this 36 is fighting hard. But you got to realize that when this 36 breaks, it's probably going to go quick because you probably have a lot of people shorting it and fighting against here, and those shorts are going to cover and spray it up faster. Important to note. So we have a nice little red doji here. We're still kind of baselining right above VWAP. Really nice. We're getting relatively close. Let me actually fast forward 1 minute. Just to kind of move us along here. Come on, ThinkorSwim. There we go. Okay, let me zoom on in here. So we actually got a little below VWAP. Nothing too crazy. We're still above pre-market highs. In fact, and let me pause it because we're getting relatively close to my entry point. We held these pre-market highs twice now. We're below VWAP, which isn't ideal, but we're on it really, and we're still battling in this 40-cent range. We're fine. I'm not concerned about my long if I'm in it or if I'm watching it. And this is actually what can be considered a retest of VWAP. We moved off, we pulled back. They tried to bring us below, and they couldn't maintain that. They couldn't hold us below. So now, we're starting to tick higher. We're at 9:33 and 41 seconds, so I'm getting ready to enter. I enter in about 30 seconds, so let's see what I saw. I saw this VWAP retest. I saw this retest of the pre-market highs. And I'm getting in about 20 seconds. And I can already tell you what my anticipation here is. My anticipation is this was the short's chance. That was their chance to drive it back lower, and they failed. We're back above VWAP, and as soon as we start testing those highs, there's a chance that the shorts are going to get squeezed out. So I'm going to show you exactly what I thought. Oh, okay, right here. So right in here, let me go back 5 seconds. I went 5 seconds too late. I bought it 9:34 and 11 seconds at a price of $35.90. So I got filled in here, and I bought a decent position. Wasn't my full position. I was going to save that to add if we broke and play into the momentum. But I took a baseline position because if it suddenly went, I wanted to be in. I wanted to be ready. I was being a little proactive. So I bought a decent position here, and I don't buy more for another minute, which is good. So at this point, I'm in my position. My stop is easily just down here. Nice definable risk, the lows that we made when the bears were trying to push it. And I can hold. So I'm holding. We're moving up. This is great. Very nice. Very beneficial for me. I'm already green. I'm comfortable. And I'm going to let this one hold because as far as I'm concerned, this is a really beautiful breakout retest and now punch it up. So I'm waiting. I would like to get bigger. This is such a good trade and such a beautiful trade, but I'm a little more patient on this one, which I like. I'm still not in. I don't know why I didn't add more to this position yet, but I probably could have been more aggressive, if anything, on this trade. Could have been in a little earlier, could have been a little bigger, but we've now returned to this VWAP. Now I'm like, is this it? Are they about to pop us, pop us, enter us, and then drop us, pop the shorts and squeeze the shorts out and then drop? I'm ready. I'm hesitant. I'm watching. We'll see. It's back at VWAP. This is where I'm watching. And it's trading. And I actually buy a little more right here. So I buy more here. And people, might think, why are you doing that? We just failed new highs. It's not getting below VWAP. It's not making new lows. They're having trouble pushing it down. This might be an iffy add. I don't double my size, but I add a couple more lots onto here. And I add 35.88. So this is exactly where I add some more. And I'm ready because I know that if this thing now breaks down here, I'm out. If it breaks down here, breaks these lows, breaks VWAP, I've got a little more defined risk. I'm going to get out because I feel like they're going to try to flush the longs now that they squeeze the shorts out. I'm still comfortable in the long because on the larger time frame, if I kind of zoom out to like a 5-minute chart, we're still fine. This trade is not broken. We're still up here. We're still technically above VWAP. We're testing, they're testing my patience. But on a 5-minute scale, on a longer time frame, on the bigger scheme of things, we're fine. So I actually add to my trade here. All right, let's see how this baby performs. Well, I'm actually, I'm going to save us some time. I'm going to fast forward because I don't make another trade for 7 more minutes. So let me fast forward just a couple. It's 9:40. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're feeling good. We're feeling good. They tried to squeeze us out. They actually flushed us here. That's what's called holding and knowing your stop. That right there is called holding and knowing your stop. It did not break previous lows. If I pull out to the 5-minute, look at the 5-minute. What in here tells you that it's time to exit? So, that's pretty nice. I don't like relying on the 5-minute too heavily this early in the open. Obviously, it's still price discovery. It never broke those lows. I didn't end up selling, which is sometimes rare for me. Sometimes that would shake me out. But I'm still in. We're moving higher. There is no reason to take anything off. Let me fast forward 1 more minute. We're getting close to my first exit, and I only took a fraction. I took like 10% of the trade off soon. And that's because I personally like to make free trades. That way the rest is pretty much, even if the rest comes back and reverses, I'm not going to lose money. So remember, I'm still in. I'm in for a sizable amount of lots at about 35.90. My stop was down here. We're moving higher. I'm feeling good. And in about 9 seconds, I enter some. I exit about 10% of my position. So enough to make it a free trade right here. Okay, so I exit a tenth of my position at 36.51. We're getting a tick down. It's not a major tick down, but we're still technically price discovery, and you want to lock in some profits while you can. That's why I took that extra share size, in here, because I want to have a little bit to scalp with to make the rest of the trade free and worry free. So I take off a little bit here at 36.51. And then we're chilling. We're hands off again. Now it's a free trade. I've still got 90% of my size. Let me fast forward another minute. I take off a little more soon. Let's go ThinkorSwim. There we go. Okay, so we've had our first down candle on the minute bar. Not a concern. I haven't exited any yet. We've held these highs, which is really nice that we pulled back and held those highs, just from like a brief technical perspective. We're still trading. I don't take any off for another minute. Now I'm expecting them to squeeze new highs, squeeze out those shorts that possibly tried to pile in. Let's see if we get that squeeze. And if we do get that squeeze, I'm just selling off some with momentum. And I'm not selling off much. I only take off another, I think, 10%. maybe 20% here. And I'll tell you when we, where's the time, 44:28. So another 20 seconds. I'm still in this for another 20 seconds. Haven't taken any more off. There's no reason to exit yet. Looking a little iffy here. We're kind of starting to tick down. Got to be cautious. If it started breaking these lows, I'd probably take off a little more. Not taking the full trade off by any means. I just want to, lock in some profits. That's all. And right about here. Right here, I take a little more off. 36.37 was my fill. At this point, I'm down to about 60% of my original position. Looking back, this might be a little aggressive. It might be. But if you look at the 1 minutes, we've been making consecutive lower highs. If I zoom into the 5 minute here, a little bit of a tall wick here. I wouldn't have been surprised to see it pull back to VWAP maybe, shake us out. I was a little uncomfortable. I wanted something a little cleaner. But, looking at this, it hadn't made new lows. It hadn't made new lows on the 1 minute. I was kind of anticipating pain. And anticipating pain can be good if you've got some intuition, but it can also hurt you. Let me fast forward a little because I'm down to 60%. I know I wanted to hold this for longer, so I'm going to hold it. So let me fast forward now 6 more minutes to 9:50. Perfect. And now let me also note that if I had held, I probably would have gotten shaken out of a little bit there anyway. So my anticipation and my intuition was a little correct in that, I felt a little more pain coming, so I got out of some a little early, which was good. Now we're moving higher. We're wedging up here. I'm hands off still. I'm hands off. There's no reason to sell yet. We're not seeing any weakness. We're making new highs. We're cruising. I'm going to fast forward another 2 minutes. I don't sell until 9:55. Let's go to 9:52, just into 9:53. Perfect. So we're breaking out. We're breaking out. There's no other way to say it. We're continuing to move. This is great. We're going into 10 o'clock. I'm sitting pretty. I'm in profits. And, we're looking good. So let me fast forward 2 more minutes. I want to try to speed this up. This is already going a little longer than I wanted. And bam, we're into 9:55. This is where I start to consider taking some off. In fact, I'm about to take some off in about 20 seconds. We've made a nice little break here. This doji is, signifying it's a little bit of a battleground now. We're in a little bit of a fight. We might make a move lower. Bears are coming back out. They're trying to short up here for some reason. I guess it's a whole number. And, we're seeing a little bit of a battle here. So you're going to see me offload another about 20% in about 8 seconds. And so I'm watching this trade. I'm watching it. It's unable to get above 37. It's testing it. It's testing it. It's testing it. It's trying. And right here, I take off 20%. This might be aggressive. This might be an aggressive profit taking. I might have been a little spooked here. Maybe I saw something on the tape. I'm not sure. I took off another 20%. Now I'm down to 40% of my core position. But I've locked in some more profits at the highs. It's really nice. If it starts to pull back and make new lows, that's okay. Let's see how this one actually behaved. I can tell you I hold the rest of the 40% for another 15 minutes. So I'll fast forward us in 1 second. Let's actually just fast forward 2 minutes. Let's see if my intuition was right. Are we going to pull back some more? Doesn't look like it. Looks like I might have been spooked out a little early at that 20%. Yep. Looks like my intuition was probably correct here. Yeah, so we're still holding higher. No reason to have sold that extra 20%. But you know what? It's the open. The first 30 minutes of the day are price discovery. You got to be careful with that kind of stuff. You can't assume. So I'm going to fast forward now just, for the sake of time, because I don't get out of the rest of my 40%, my last 40% of my position until after 10:10. And let me pause it. So we're at 10:10:02. Look at us. We're cruising. We're sitting higher. I had sold a little bit in here, which is fine. I took my first, 10, 20% profits in here, took a little more in here, which is fine. We weren't making new highs. I was down to 60% in here. Maybe a little aggressive profit taking, but, I like to lock in profits. I like to make it a free trade. Arguably, my worst exit was in here. This is a nice flag. Nice flag, hasn't moved lower. There was no reason to take off that extra 10, 20%. I'm down to 40% of my position. We're topping out around this 38, and this is where I start to unload some more. And I get out at 10:10 and 19 seconds. And let's see, 10 seconds, I'm going to be exiting some more. And I'm going to get me down to about 20% of my position left. 6, 7, 8, and 9. There we go. So I ended up exiting another 20% of my position at 37.82, exactly where we are now. I saw it top out at 38. Maybe it's an aggressive entry. You know, we didn't necessarily get below this little mini breakout point. We haven't made real new lows, but you know what? I'm a little more of an aggressive trader. I don't like holding for too long, I guess. You know, I'm giving myself some excuses. We'll see. Looks like my intuition wasn't bad, you know. You start to develop and understand how some of these stocks trade, and you get a feel for it. But right here, I'm out. I'm out of my position. You know, I've made 2 points, I believe, on this. I've made 2 points on this, 3 points on this almost. No, 2 points. I made 2 points on this trade. You know, it's like 6% or so. It's not bad. You know, I can't be upset with this. I can't be upset with this trade. You know, obviously there are some points to improve upon, but I think that this was a very clear-cut trade, and this is why I wanted to show it to you all. You know, it was very easy to look at, very easy to understand my thought process. This is what it looks like on the 5-minute. You know, you had a little hammer here, which is what shook me out of some, which is reasonable even from a 5-minute perspective, and then we moved higher and I took off some more in here. Arguably, you know, my one bad entry or exit is right in here. And, you know, I probably could still be in a little bit of a core position in here. There's no reason to exit your full position. Let's fast forward 50 minutes to 11:10. Let's just see where this stock is in about an hour. This is, hang on, it's still updating. Give it a sec. Oh, it didn't update. It took me back to 10:10. Publish. All right. Here we go. Okay. So this is where I exited that position. I fully exited my position on this. Returned to VWAP, which is not an unreasonable expectation to have for this stock. And we made kind of new highs. You know, we pushed up against this 38.25. It wasn't that much more. It was an extra 25 cents, and it bumped up against more resistance. But, you know, if I used VWAP as a trailing stop, it wouldn't have been a bad call. You know, it wouldn't have been a bad trade to use that as a trailing stop. VWAP kind of gets slow towards the end of the day, so it's kind of hard to use that as a trailing stop. This is a 22 EMA I could have used as well. Would have gotten me out anyway. Maybe there's a re-entry in here somewhere. You know, maybe when you saw it hold VWAP and it started making new highs in here, you could have taken a small flyer, you know, put a stop below some of these lows here, maybe even VWAP if you're, you know, a little risk tolerant. And, you know, we would have seen how it goes. Let's see how this one ended for the day. We're going to go to 4 p.m. in 10 minutes. That's it. That was pretty much the high here. So we ended up exiting on the 1 minute right in here. These were our exits at 37.82 and then 37.67. Those were our exits in here. You might have had a nice little re-entry opportunity, something I possibly could have missed in here. But you know what? The momentum died. I was done with it. And all in all, it ended up being a 6% trade. And I took some extra size on this on that second entry, which is why, you know, it ended up getting me some extra profits. This isn't one of those low float Momo stocks that I like to trade that, you know, you can make 50% in 10 minutes or something crazy. This was just a solid technical breakout on a, you know, not really blue chip stock, but a corner stable stock that was breaking out on the daily. Good second day play, solid technical levels from the pre-market and previous day highs, and never really gave you any pain. So this was a great trade and a really great example of one of my best trades of last month. Now let's take a look, and I'm going to try to speed things up because this is actually getting a little longer than I intended. I don't know how I managed to let that happen. We're going to go to Beyond Meat, and we're going to go to 5:20, and let's just go straight to 9 o'clock. I'll show you what I was looking at. We're going to dive right into the trade here. Oh, that's 9:30. Whoops. Well, now you're going to see what it looked like on the open. Okay, Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat was one of the Momo stocks. You know, it's running the past, running again. Let me show you the 5 minutes, show you the daily here. On the daily on Beyond Meat, we had this consolidation here. And, you know, we're just chilling. We're chilling in consolidation here. We're above a nice little level here on the daily. No reason to want to momentum hold this. This isn't like BJ's where I thought, you know, this thing could hold and we could hold it for hours or whatever. This was actually just a morning scalp. We're sitting up here nicely in the pre-market. We're at the previous day's highs. I was expecting a push up to these highs. And all of these trades I mentioned in my morning videos for that day. This day was on May 20th. So now let's zoom in here to the 1 minute. Let's go to 9:30 and let's see how I traded this. This was a much shorter trade. It was a scalp. I was in and out in the first 4 minutes of the day. So this isn't going to be like BJ's. Don't worry, we're going to speed things up here. 9:30, boom. We have this crazy open, and I actually need to rewind it because I am long by now. I bought at 9:30 and 3 seconds. An aggressive entry. But look at where we are. We traded up into the open. We're at the highs of the previous day. You got to be careful. This is what I talked about on BJ's. Sometimes the more aggressive trade and the more aggressive trader is going to catch things that someone who is more passive might not catch. So I buy in 3 seconds. We're at the open and pause. I bought. Okay. I bought a little bit of size here. Not too much. 141.70 is what I got filled at. I got a little bit at 141.72. This is an aggressive buy. It is. I'm looking for a squeeze. I'm looking for them to bait the shorts in and squeeze them higher. I'm not looking for a trend. I'm not looking for anything like that. If this thing even ticked down below this 141.50, I'm out. I'm not going to play against this thing, and I'm not going to hold and hold through unnecessary pain. I'm just looking for a quick Momo squeeze in the morning. So I'm in 3 lots. I'm watching. I'm waiting. It's testing me. It's going to test my patience a little bit. Let me actually fast forward it, get it moving a little quicker here, because I'm going to be out. Boom. Look at us moving higher. This is great. I'm feeling good. I'm in 3 lots. I'm going to scale out of this one since it's working for me, and I'm actually going to get out in about 20 seconds. Oh, beautiful Momo squeeze. Oh, I love it. I love watching these back. Okay, I'm out. So I got out at 9:31 and 2 seconds, and then 9:31 and 7 seconds. So I got out 2 lots. 2 of my 3 lots in here. So this is where I exited my first lot. My first lot was at 9:31 and 2 seconds at 143.10. Reason I did that? Momentum's dead. I'm out of some. Make it a free trade. Lock in some profits. That's all I needed. And bam, I'm out of a third of my trade, and I've secured a little bit. Now it's a free trade. The rest is going to be kind of traded Momo. I get out of another of my lots right at 7 seconds. 5, 6, 7. Bam. I'm out of another lot here. A little aggressive, but you know what? We're playing the momentum. 142.70 is where I got out. I got out of a little bit at 143.10. So not the best, not the best exits. I didn't get the best fills on here. I was a little too aggressive with my orders. That's okay. It happens. Got out of 2 of my 3 lots. That's okay. There's going to be a reentry, and you'll see. I get out of my next lot at 9:31 and 26 seconds. So we're waiting. It's ticking up a little bit. Maybe they're going to try to buy this back up. We're going to see 6 seconds I get out. So something happens here. What's happening? Buyers aren't buying this thing up. They're not pushing it higher. I'm out right here. I got 142 and 84. So I got a decent exit. I got out right in here. Buyers weren't pushing it higher. I didn't like that. Now I re-enter, and I re-enter a minute later. I don't enter right away. I let this thing develop. I let the stock tell me its story for the day. Right here. Okay, so it's 9:32 and 28 seconds. I'm going to enter in about 20 seconds. I'm going to enter 2 lots. So not quite as big as the first squeeze. Probably a fault on my own. Let me see where I enter. I see it fail to get to VWAP. This is kind of like a VWAP retest. I expect a little bit of a bounce, maybe then push this thing higher, squeeze some of the shorts out. Some of the shorts were probably baited in here, and I bought right here. Pause. All right, I'm a second late, but I bought 2 lots at 142.75. You think, oh God, what are you doing? I'm playing aggressive here because I've just seen how fast this thing moves on the upside. They've been unable to get it lower and unable to get it below VWAP. I want to see if we can squeeze the shorts out real quick. And I'm in these 2 lots not long at all, about a minute. Let me actually fast forward it a little bit. Boom, we're moving higher. Perfect. Now at this point, what I'm thinking is I just want a break of new highs. A break of new highs and I'm out. I'm out of momentum. This is just going to be a short squeeze. I think this is going to be a short squeeze, and I just want to see those shorts that were baited in. I want to see them hurt. No offense to the shorts, but that is going to give me the benefit. That is going to give me what I want, and I'm out in about 40 seconds. 9:33 and 56 seconds is when I exit. In about 30 seconds, we're pushing. We haven't really broken. I probably could have taken some off by now, but I didn't. I held. About 20 more seconds. Right here. Pause. Okay, so I got out at 144.62. I got out of half of my position. Not bad. I wanted that push. We got up to this level. This level, this 145 was the level. That was the level that I wanted it. And we've reached it. So why not take some off? You know, make the rest a free trade. I'm only down to half a lot. This is small size now. And guess what? I'm already out of the rest. I got out at 144.14. We're ticking down off of that level. I was done. I was just trading those morning pushes, that morning squeeze, that morning momentum. That is what a morning trade looks like for me if I'm trading some of these in play, some of these Momo stocks. Let me fast forward, show you what this stock did for the day. I'm going to be impressed with myself on this one. This is one of the reasons why I picked this one. Oh my goodness, look at that. They squeezed it up, they squeezed the shorts, they tested the highs, and it was done for the day. So this is why price discovery, this isn't like the BJ's trade, you know. This is why you got to take profits when you can, because those first 30 minutes is price discovery. It can completely reverse. And this is a good example of that. You know, I made all of my trades in these 5-minute bars, but it was one of my biggest trades of the month because or it was just one of my easiest trades of the month. It was one of my biggest, and one of my easiest. You know, I made a sizable amount on here because, you know, I was quick. I was in and out. I'm good at executions on this. I had some bad fills in some cases, but I played with the momentum on this one. I didn't let myself get burned, and I took profits when I can. One of the best trades of the month. This might not interest everyone, but for you morning traders, I mean, look, you know, we caught that one perfectly, and I felt good about that one. A little pat on my own back. Let's go to another one, and this one is going to be Myrna. So this one I want to talk about because Myrna, you know, was an in-play stock, and it still is, you know, at the moment of me filming this, because, you know, of the vaccine news and everything like that. So let's just go to 9 a.m. This is a good lesson. This one I really like. I really like this Myrna trade. Boom. Okay, so Myrna just had news. They just came out, you know, not too long ago, a couple days ago, that, you know, the vaccine was looking good, and then it came out the vaccine, well, it's not looking as good. It's just phase 1. Who cares? So it came off a lot. And yesterday, the last 3 days, were big selling days. And I was very upset with myself this day because it actually started selling off pre-market, and I missed it. I missed it on this day. I missed that morning flush. So I saw what it did here, and I remembered. Patterns repeat themselves. At this point, we're holding lower. We're looking good technically. You know, we've got some room to run. I don't think it's going to make a move like this. They rarely make the same kind of move twice. They do sometimes, but they rarely do. And I noticed that, you know, the mornings over the last couple of days, we've had some flushes. This day, it sold off pre-market, tanked. This day, it sold off pre-market, tanked. So we go into today, and we're holding lower. And the reason I want to show you this one is this is when I actually start shorting in the pre-market. I don't do that often, but when I do, it's because I see something like this. Look at that. Does that look familiar to any of you? Because it should. It looks almost exactly like this. You know, we started rolling over. And, you know, I missed it yesterday. So you could argue that there's a little bit of FOMO in here. I short at 9:14 and 17 seconds. So in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. I short it right here at 53.16. I take a little bit of size. I short 3 minutes later. You know, because I'm not shorting big. Keep in mind, it's doing some volume, so I can manage my risk. But, you know, I'm not going crazy, but I want to have some of this. Give me favorable entries and prices in case it drops. And now I can scalp it properly. I add a little bit here at 9:17 and 35 seconds, which is about where we are. In about 20 seconds, we'd be there. And I got 53.01. So I got 53.17s and 53.01s. I'm in a couple of lots, nothing serious. But I'm feeling good, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna let this one trade. Maybe I'll short some more on the open. We'll see. So let's fast forward to the open because I actually cover some almost immediately. I'm actually just gonna go immediately to where I covered, which was at 9:30 and 42 seconds. I cover some of my position here. I don't cover it all. I cover some, and I get 51.36s. Not the best. But not the worst. Why is it acting like it's trading? Oh, I think it's catching up. So I think it's catching up to me. There we go. Okay, so I saw that push lower, and I wanted to hold it. So I didn't take any off there. Maybe that's a mistake. $50 is a good psychological level to base your trade off of. But, you know, I didn't. And now that we're up here and we're starting to push green, you can see your profit start to go away, and you see it, kind of telling you something. I got out at 51.36. I got out of 2 out of my 3 lots. And I get out of the rest 10 minutes later at 9:40 and 43 seconds. So I actually let this thing trade. I let the last lot. I wanted, it's a free trade at this point. I've locked in some good profits because I was smart and aggressive, and I saw the pattern repeat itself, and I shorted it at 53s. And, I took some off, in this first minute bar, locked in some profits. Now it's trying to push lower, but sadly, right here, I realize, okay, this thing's not ready to go down. I cover my final bid at 51.49s. And, I'm okay with it. It's not the best trade it could be, but it's not over. It's not over. And this is one that I almost crush. And this is a good learning opportunity for me, and a good way for me to show you a good learning opportunity, because I re-enter this thing on the short side at 10:02 and 18 seconds, but I'm a weak hand and I miss extra major profits. So 10:02, 18. I haven't taken this off my trade. Just because I made a trade on this doesn't mean it's over. Bam, right here. Okay, little aggressive of me, but I like it. They tried squeezing the shorts out. It fails around the same point that I entered in previously. Wouldn't have been a bad idea to maybe watch that and maybe re-enter. That's hindsight. But I see that we've now returned to VWAP, and we're really not holding above VWAP. It's not looking good for this trade. So I reinitiate a short of 3 lots right here, and I get 51.53s. At this point alone, I get 51.53s. And, it's going to be a tight stop for me on this one. I probably could have given this a little more than I did, and you're going to see that I get shaken out of this one. And let me fast forward to 10:05 and 12 seconds. I'm a little past that, but close enough. I actually take a little off here. You know why? I take off one of my 3 lots. We're still kind of price discovery. I think this is an aggressive take profit for me. We haven't really made new lows. We did cross below VWAP. We made new lows, but I took off a third of the position. There's really no indication here that I should have. I saw it bounce off 51. I think I got a little spooked, so I got out at 51.16 out of a third of my position. Now I hold the rest for another 12 seconds. Let's fast forward. Pretty much going into 10:18 is where I get out of the rest. And you'll see why. Right here, I get out of the rest at 51.30s and 51.70s. It pushed higher. It pushed above VWAP. I thought they were about to bait. I thought that this was a bait for the shorts, and then they squeezed us. Not necessarily a bad exit. I'm not upset with this exit. I'm happy I re-entered at this good pivotal moment on VWAP. I'm happy-ish that I took some profit here. Clearly, that was too aggressive. I could have taken some more profit in here as we return to 51. Would have been the same exit in terms of price, but I would have let it develop a little more. And I'm okay that I exited on that push over VWAP. What I'm not happy about is I didn't re-enter again because I was scared to lose some of those profits. You gonna push for me? You gonna publish? There we go. Yeah, look. They squeezed me out. I was the weak hand, and they immediately drove it lower. As soon as I saw that, I should have realized that I was the sucker being squeezed in this case. I was playing well. I was looking for the baits, and the suckers getting pushed out, and I played into that. And I missed it. I missed the clear re-entry. Let's show you what it did. And hang on. Oh, why'd you push me back to 10 o'clock? See, ThinkorSwim can sometimes not want to cooperate. Okay, here we go. Bam. It had this beautiful flush lower. Beautiful flush lower here. This is where I got squeezed out at. I missed a beautiful short re-entry. Anywhere in here is an opportunity. Once I should have realized that they were baiting me out and that I was the sucker in this case, and I missed another 4 points, 5 points to the downside. No, I don't think I should have held these shares the entire time because this could have continued. And holding for too long in price discovery can really hurt you. So I'm happy with almost every execution I had in here. The shorts in here were great. The covers in here were fine. and decent and good profit taking. Re-entry was great. That profit taking too aggressive. I just missed a re-entry. And that's why it's important to even just set an alert. After I got squeezed in here, set an alert for down here, I would have seen it. Or just be patient. Let these stocks develop. Understand what the market psychology is, and you would have caught a really nice short on the downside. So that was that trade. One of my best, but also one of my best learning experiences. And that's why I wanted to show it to you. I made some decent profits on this, but I could have made more, and I really could have knocked this one out of the park. We're getting a little long here. I'm just going to speed run this one. I don't want to keep you for too long. Roku, another solid trade, one of the best trades I thought for this month. Okay, so I actually fast forwarded this a little bit here so you could see. Roku, this is what we were looking like on the daily. Kind of chilling in here. No real breakout reason, which is why this isn't a buy and hold trade. This is like a 5-minute trade, 10-minute trade max, and it was a one-and-done trade. It was a nice scalp. This is a nice little VWAP kind of movement here. So we had this crazy action in the pre-market, or on the open. We kind of chopped around, nothing too crazy here, but I liked this now because we held higher. We kind of pulled back. We're flagging a little bit. We're holding right here. And I buy in about 2 seconds. I buy 2 lots at 128.71, and I'm just looking for a squeeze higher. I'm thinking we're sitting at these pre-market highs. I think we're getting a nice little pop. I was looking for something higher, but let me fast forward to save us some time. I know this has gone a little long. I got it at 10:04 in 4 seconds. I got a half my position at 131.28. Not bad. So I got a nice little position in here. I only bought 2 lots. Could have been bigger. 128.71 is what I got. I was looking for this, and that's what I got. So I got out of half of my position at 131.28 a couple seconds earlier. This was just, I've gotten a nice little momentum move. I'm locking in some profits. In terms of pre-market, we're topping out right in here. These pre-market levels were what I was looking at. And I hold the other half of my position 7 more minutes and get out at 10:11 and 12 seconds. I'm going a little past that, but that's okay. And I get out at 131.80s. So I don't quite get out here. It's something I could have done, something I should have done, maybe that other half. But I tried to let that bit run, and I got out as soon as this flushed. Got bad fills down here, but I'm out. That is a beautiful morning breakout. You had this chopping around, but let the bulls and bears bludgeon themselves to death in here. I'm surprised this didn't bait me in on a short. Maybe I was trading something else, but this, was looking good. I was looking for that profit taking off of this big gap down after earnings. We held baseline. We were holding a little higher, holding above VWAP. Saw this flag, wanted the squeeze, got the squeeze. I'm out. And let's see what this thing did until the close, just to round us out here. Let's go ThinkorSwim. You got it. I believe in you. There we go. That was it. That was it. So this was a momentum play. It was a momentum play into the kind of resistance here that it kind of faced after earnings. I'm not playing for a breakout and hold. This isn't good enough on the daily level. This isn't good enough on the long-term level for me to want to hold this. This was a purely momentum-based trade. I held this one because it never really made new lows, never made new lows. It never made new lows. I took off a little bit, made it a free trade, and I took out the rest when we started failing. Clean trade. Really clean. Again, this isn't one of those low-float Momo stocks. This was a fast mover and a Momo stock in itself in how it was behaving, but, it was easy to watch. It was easy to trade, and I think it was a really good VWAP crossover. And so, yeah, those were my 4 best trades, or some of my best trades. I think some of the best teaching opportunities for the month of May in 2020. And there were a lot of other opportunities. I'm going to post another video probably tomorrow or something on my worst trades of May. I'm going to try to make that video a little shorter. I apologize for this one's runtime. But yeah, that was it. And I hope that this gave you some insight into some of the morning trades that I take when I'm scalping and I'm momentum trading and I'm looking for the market psychology and on those squeezes and looking for them to shake people out. And you understand my thought process on some of those trades. You got one on that great breakout and hold on BJ's. You got a couple morning squeezes, a couple of VWAP retests, and some really interesting momentum plays. So I hope this was helpful and informative. I will see you in some of our other videos, and I hope that this was a nice educational video for you all. Take care, and as always, safe trading.